What started with a promise in 1991 has taken me 15,000 miles. I was down in Mexico with some friends at Christmas, 1991, and a little boy living in a garbage dump actually came up to me with a toy we had given and said, "Hey mister, can we swap this gift for a pair of shoes? I'd like a pair of shoes." And we didn't have any shoes to give him, so we said, "Listen, I'll give you the next best thing, give you my word." I just got thinking, what if everybody helped out a little bit? And I asked my friends, "Hey, would you give me a pair of shoes for every mile if I was to walk across Alabama?" Then I upped the ante and said, "What if I walk barefoot? Would you give me 10 pair of shoes every mile that I walked?" And they said, "We'll do that." And so that first year, 1991, I walked across Alabama barefoot. So I decided, hey, after I went back and took the shoes to Mexico and saw that little boy and his friends and a lot of other people, because we got a lot of shoes, that, hey, maybe this is something that I'll do again. So I did it again and again, and now I've done it for 28 years, 39 states. That first year I walked across Alabama, some of my students from Notasulga High School walked with me because they said, "Mr. Hagans, you're an old man, you may die." I think about that because that was a lot of years ago and I'm still walking. But we got a lot of shoes that first year, and we were able to go back and take shoes to that little boy and everybody in his village. We sent some of those shoes to Guatemala and India. We've been out shoes all over Alabama and across America. So it's been a blessing, not just for that little boy, but it's been a blessing, I hope, for a lot of people. It's certainly been a blessing to me because it's not just about the shoes. I love being out there on the highways and byways of America and meeting people I wouldn't normally meet. What I do is I walk each day. Used to, I'd walk 20, 25, 30 miles. I've got older, it's more like 10 to 15 miles now. But at the end of every day, I've got to hitchhike back to where I started. And so part of the adventure over the years is who picks me up hitchhiking. Nobody knows I'm a preacher when they pick me up. I have no idea who they are when we pick me up. But you know, we've had preachers pick me up on the way to go kill themselves, and all at once I'm able to say, "Please don't do that," and pray with them. We've had people pick us up whose lives were just falling apart, and we've been able to share the gospel with them. We've had people pick us up who had no idea about the gospel, and just by picking up a preacher all at once, the concept of God amongst us becomes very real, that God would send a preacher out amongst them. We've had groups like Souls for Souls, great charities like Roma Boots. Samuel, the president and founder of Roma Boots, has been with us, not just donating the shoes, but going and giving them out himself. We've also had churches and businesses, and most of all, a lot of friends donate shoes that we've able to take and send to Mexico, to India, to Guatemala, to Africa, places all over the world, including right there at home. Yeah, I think now, because I've been doing this for a lot of years. When I started, I was younger. Now I'm fixing to turn 61 out here on the highway. But I've walked across 38 states, over 15,000 miles. My goal is to walk all 50 states. It would appear that nobody's ever walked all 50 states, so maybe I could be the first one to do that. I've got a new knee. The doctor said, "Hey, you just wore your knees out, preacher." And I guess that's good to wear them out doing something like raising shoes for people that need them and sharing the gospel with people that haven't heard it. You know, when I'm walking, I'm trying to raise shoes for a lot of people, most of whom I'll never meet. But when I'm walking, I do get to meet people. Last year I was walking in Death Valley, and I actually had a friend from my home church come out to walk with me, and we prayed that morning before we set out to walk that God would just order our steps and give us a divine appointment along the way. And that day, the only place we saw all day that had any people was a biker bar. So we stopped to go in and get something to drink, and a barmaid walked by and she said, "Did one of you guys say Jesus?" And we said, "We may have." Told her a little bit about the walk and a little bit about Jesus, and she said, "I've been wanting somebody to come to this bar." And so we went back to the bar at the invitation of the barmaid and met her brother, who's a heroin addict. And so we talked to him about the Lord, and he was more than glad to have somebody pray. He was grateful to have somebody pray for him. And as we prayed for him, everybody else in the bar was so reverent. They all quit what they were doing and bowed their heads. And when we said amen, somebody said, "Hey, can you pray for my son? Could you pray for my family?" And we began to pray for other people in the bar. And when it was over, I thought, what a grand and glorious opportunity that most preachers would never get to walk into a bar and be invited to pray for people. And that's what's happened out on the highways, 15,000 miles. I've met people, and God's reminded me that He keeps our lives in the palms of His hands. And He uses us to perhaps help keep someone else's lives in the palms of His hand. Maybe through a pair of shoes we share, or maybe through a prayer in a biker bar. I'd love for you to follow my walks. You can do that on our website at harvestevangelism.org,